Guys, hope you're doing well. Today in math, we are starting another new concept with time. It's called elapsed time. So last week you practiced telling time on the clock, which you guys all did awesome with. And then we went into converting time. And now we're going into elapsed time. So both will help you with today's assignment. So just really quick to talk about converting time. I'm just going to show you the anchor chart from the other day. So we talked about 24 hours are in one day. 60 minutes is in 1 hour, which this might help you with today's assignment. So just remember that. And then 60 seconds are in 1 minute. And then there's an AM and PM. And there's 12 hours in an AM, 12 hours in a PM. Okay, so now let's talk about elapsed time. What is elapsed time? Elapsed time means it's the amount of time that has passed between the start and the end of an activity. Okay, so it wants to know how long something lasts for. So they might give you a start time and then an end time, and they just want to know how long it lasts. Or they could ask you if something starts at a certain time and it takes an hour, what time would it end? So we're going to look at both of those and some strategies of how to solve for them. Okay, so we're just going to look up here at my anchor chart. If we were to look at this problem, it says start time 4 o'clock p.m. end time 6 o'clock p.m. They want to know how much time is in between. So a strategy that can be helpful is using a number line. So if you look, I drew my number line. So you're going to want to start your number line at the start time. So our start time is 4 o'clock. Okay, so we put that as our start. Our end time would be 6 o'clock. So a way to help you solve is do by the hour. So we know that it's between 4 and 6 is 5 o'clock. So here's our number line. It goes 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So then you make your little humps or whatever you want to call them, mountains. But this will tell the hour. So we did 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. There's 1 hour. Then 5 o'clock to 6 hour is another hour. So then you just add them together, and what you get is 2 hours. So this is one way of doing elapsed time. This is an easier one because it's just telling you hours. So if I said, what is the elapsed time of, let's say the start time is 3 o'clock p.m., and now it ends at 6 o'clock p.m. You can make your number line. Start it with 3 o'clock. I'm not going to write p.m. for each one. And then 4 o'clock would be the next hour. 5 o'clock. And then 6 o'clock, which is our end time. So then you make your little mountain. So there's 1 hour, 2, 3. So if that's easy, you can just count it. If you need to label it, 1 hour, another 1 hour, and another 1 hour. And if you add them all together, it's 3 hours. Okay, so that is just by the hours. Now let's say our start time, moving the anchor chart down, our start time is at 3:40 p.m. and end time is 4:25 p.m. How are we going to figure that one out? So, as you can see, I drew another number line, and I put the start time is 3:40, the end time is 4:25. Now, always go by the hour in between it. So we know the next hour from 3:40 is 4 o'clock, and then you'll have your end time. So, figure out what that time is between 3:40 and 4 o'clock. So we know it's 20 minutes. So I put 20 minutes here. Then what's the time between 4 and 4:25? It's 25 minutes. Now, we did this, but that's not our last step. Our last step is now we need to add these minutes together. So if you look down, 20 minutes plus 25 minutes equals 45 minutes. So our elapsed time between 3:40 and 4:25 is 45 minutes. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult because you really need to know how many minutes between, for an hour. You need to know what the minutes between like 3:40 and 4 o'clock is. So if you saw, it's actually you haven't saw it yet, because when you go to the assignment, you'll see I put 2 clocks on there, one with hands and one without hands. I know it's easier on paper, but if it might help you to use the clock to solve these, so then you can see the minutes, I put those on there. But you could also draw it on your paper, draw a clock, and just use that to help you solve for this. So that's another strategy. So you have the number line and you have the clocks itself, okay? So let's look at some more problems that you're going to see on today's assignment. And if you're confused with these, please let me know. You could always go back and rewatch it, and maybe sometimes the second time, you might be able to understand a little bit better. So actually, I'm just going to do one more with the minutes when it's like the second problem we did, just so you guys understand. So let's say the start time is 6:10 and the end time is 7:05. Okay? So I would first start by making my number line, and I'm going to start it with 6:10, and I'm going to end it with 7:05. So now what hour comes after 6 o'clock? It's 7 o'clock. So you want to figure out what is the time difference between 6:10 and 7 o'clock. So we could count up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We're at 60, so that's 50 minutes. You can use the clock, and you'll still see it's 50 minutes. Okay, and then we got to figure out what's the time between 7 and 7:05. It's 5 minutes. So now add these together. So 50 plus 5 equals 55 minutes. Okay, so that is how you do another one of those problems. Okay, so I'm going to do another problem where I'm going to read this problem to you, okay, and then we're going to try to solve it. So it says Rachel and Shannon went to a fair. They arrived at 7:50 p.m. and left at 9:15 p.m. How long were they at the fair? So we know they arrived at 7:50, so we could just say that's our start time. And then they left at 9:15, so that's our end time. So you want to make your start on your number line 7:50, and we know they left at 9:15. So we want to go to the next hour, which after 7 is 8. And then the next hour after 8 is 9. And then we're at the 9. So we need to figure out what the difference between 7:50 and 8 is. And we know this is an hour. So I'm going to put that 1 hour. And then I hope you can see it, what the time difference between 9 and 9:15 are. So let's see, what's the difference between 7:50 and 8? It's 10 minutes. And then what's the difference between 9 and 9:15? That's 15 minutes. Okay, so now that we're not done, we need to add all this together. So we have 10 minutes plus 1 hour plus 15 minutes. So we know 1 hour plus 10 minutes plus 15 minutes. So 10 plus 15 is 25 minutes. So they were there 1 hour and 25 minutes. I hope you guys are understanding this. As long as you know the clock very well, you should be able to do this, okay? I'm going to do another type of problem, okay? Okay, so the next type of problem I'm going to ask you to understand or to figure out is if they give you a start time and then they tell you how long it takes, what will be the end time, okay? So let's say, I'm going to read this problem. John makes posters for his family. He takes 40 minutes to make the posters. He started making them at 10:10 a.m. So if our start time is 10:10 a.m., and we know it takes 40 minutes, you might not even need your number line. So 10:10 a.m. And if it helps you to do like every 10 minutes on the number line, you can do that because we're trying to figure out what time did he finish. So this is 10:20, 10:30, so that's 10 minutes, 20. We said 40 minutes, 10:40. There's 10, 10, 10, 10 minutes. Look, so 10, 20, 30, 40. He finished at 10:50 a.m. Okay? So we said the start time was 10:10 a.m. I started on my number line, and it took him 40 minutes to complete this. So what time did they end? 10:50. Okay, so let's try another problem like this, where they give us the start time and how long it takes, and we need to figure out the end time. So let's say I read a book. I started reading the book at 1:10 p.m., okay? So I started my book 1:10 p.m. And it took me an hour and 10 minutes to read. So 1 hour and 10 minutes. What time did I finish reading my book? So remember, our start time is 1:10. And we're trying to figure out that end time. So it took me an hour and 10 minutes. So I'll start with my hour. So I'm going to go all the way to my hour. And we know the next, let's start with, could do it this way. So an hour would be 2:10, right? So 1 hour. And then we need 10 minutes after that. So 10 minutes after 2:10 is 2:20. So I finished reading my book at 2:20. So I'll repeat that problem again. My start time was 1:10. It took me 1 hour and 10 minutes to read. What was my end time? So I did an hour from 1:10. That was 2:10. And then 10 extra minutes, and it was 2:20. So I finished reading my book at 2:20. So I hope you guys understand this concept. If you have any questions, please reach out. I can try to find some more videos for you. Let me know if you need anything at all.